All right, we are back on the Frazer Smith Show. We are presented tonight and every night by the excellent attorneys at SweetJames.com. If you've been hitting an attorney or by anything, you call Sweet James.
Hit in an attorney?
Or by an attorney, whatever.
So you were in an attorney when you got hit? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know about that.
Okay, I'm just clarifying.
Mel, don't get us canceled by our sponsor.
I'm sure he'd cover it.
Does Sweet James do divorces?
Yeah. Well, our guest may need his services coming up soon.
My divorce is a car wreck.
We better not talk about. Yeah, well, that's what he'll cover you then.
Right
we
on.
have our special guest with us, Joe Bartnick, my good buddy, and hockey expert, and our the co-host with Andy Picaro on our Puck Off podcast. Joe is a great comedian. Joe, it's good to see you.
Great to see you, Frazer. And Mel.
Yes, brother.
New studio. We got Frazer up in the throne, and you're on the couch, Mel. Everyone's moving on up.
Yes, and in court he's actually
Except
known as
Mel.
the respondent. I think is what I think he's called, right? The respondent in the divorce.
Oh, I don't know. It's my first and last. I'm not getting married again.
Oh,
Well, you say that now.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm sorry you're going through that.
That's okay.
We'll talk to Sweet James for you.
new beginnings.
Now, you're a huge hockey fan, and we have the hockey playoffs coming up, the NHL playoffs. The Kings have been looking really good this year. What do you think their chances are in the playoffs, Joe?
I think it's their year to beat the dreaded Edmonton Oilers. I think Edmonton is down this year. They're kind of limping into the playoffs. I think the Kings are the strongest they've been in years.
That's been their Achilles heel. They can't get past the Oilers the last 3 years in the playoffs, but you think this year they can do it?
Yeah, I mean, they've got more depth finally than, the Edmonton Oilers, that they lost Fogle, who now the Kings have, and he's leading the Kings in, 5-on-5 goals and almost every category that isn't on the power play. He's really stepped up for them in a big-time way. And they also lost Holloway, and they lost the kid over in Buffalo. They lost three of their depth forwards. They kind of made the difference because you're never really going to completely stop Leon, Draisaitl, and Connor McDavid. But, you can at least contain them. But if the other guys are taking off against you, you have a problem. So now the Kings, they kind of have more depth because of our buddy, the big Hugh Quinton Byfield.
He's really playing well.
Absolutely. He's really come into his own as the number 2 overall pick. He's a dominant number 2 center. And now with the number 1 line of Kempe, who I think is the most underrated player in the NHL, and other people agree with me, along with the Hall of Famer Andrei Kopitar, because they traded for Andrei Kuzmenko. And at the trade deadline, I'm like, this is not quite enough. I wish they got someone with a little more firepower on the top line. Kuzmenko's fit in beautifully on the top line.
Yeah, he's looking good, man.
I was just going to say that.
And the Kings are looking good. How do you compare them to you and I were lucky we got to take a picture with the Stanley Cup.
Yes, I was there when they won their first cup. I was at the game. It was incredible.
That was unbelievable, and they won 2 back-to-back, right?
Well, no, it was
that's
a
right.
year off, and then they came back.
Yeah,
so everyone got to take a break from the parade, and they come back the following year.
I was still at the parade. But they did win a couple of times there and had great teams. How would you compare this year's team to those King teams that won the Stanley Cup?
It's hard to say because, Kemper and your boy Big Save Dave Rittich, they're not Jonathan Quick.
Jonathan Quick was awesome.
It's funny. We wrote him off a couple of years ago, and now he's playing incredible for the Rangers.
Yeah,
Every
he's
time
back,
they need him, he steps up. So they don't have Jonathan Quick, but, they do have some young defensemen that are stepping up, Spence and Clark. They don't kind of have the grizzled veterans, like I say, in Alec Martinez, what he brought to the table back then.
Mexican player, Mel.
Yes.
In hockey?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Scored the Stanley Cup game-winning goal.
He was
you guys
fantastic.
Speak about hockey, you guys should have subtitles or something.
Nobody knows
can't understand.
except hockey fans what we're talking
Right.
about.
He didn't call the puck a biscuit. He called it a burrito.
Joe, the big hockey news, of course, is Ovechkin passing Gretzky.
Yes, something you never thought would ever happen, even further away than Hank Aaron. That almost seemed attainable. But Gretzky, no one ever thought anyone would ever catch Gretzky.
I didn't think so.
No, and about 5 years ago, people started getting close. People started, maybe. But the fact that Alexander Ovechkin,
Thank
people
you for
who
the
don't
translation.
know, the fact that he has played a physical brand of hockey and actually leads all forwards all time in hits. Now they just started recording it maybe 20 years ago, and leads in goals of all time is remarkable. He really is a Russian machine, Mel. He's from the future.
Yeah, he is. He seems like a.
You get a hit. You can get a hit in hockey.
Oh, these hits are actual physical.
Yeah, and he is.
Oh, like you actually.
Yeah, you
he
hit
brings
somebody.
that presence.
Hey,
Well,
Jimmy
you know,
Russell.
of course, as a Red Wing fan, I had that same kind of hero in Gordie Howe because he was a skilled player and a tough guy.
Right. Well, that's who
Look at
Wayne
Fraser
Gretzky
showing off.
passed to take number one, and he kind of blew him away. But then, of course, Alex caught him. You know what's funny is Wayne actually wore the number 9 pin and made a point to say that Gordie Howe was still the greatest player of all time.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. And, you know, he was very gracious, Gordie Howe, when he lost his record. And I thought Wayne was the other night when Ovechkin beat him.
I think Wayne was still in shock that somebody
Caught him.
Yeah. And I know Janet Jones was in shock because she gave Mrs. Ovechkin like an 8-carat diamond ring. And I was...
What?
Yeah, it was a gift because Gordie's wife gave her a gift. So the old, pass it on down hockey tradition. But,
yeah.
She was rooting for someone to, slew foot Ovechkin. He never got the record, keep the ring.
She could have hawked that. Yeah. You know, I was really hoping for that, too, because I'm a big Wayne Gretzky fan. He meant so much to United States hockey when he came down to the Kings from the Oilers in that big trade that happened back in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, everybody says that there's like probably 9 teams are all because Wayne came to Los Angeles. And they basically all became because he wanted to, be closer to Janet Jones. So I guess we should all, thank Janet Jones.
I think we have to. You know, I partied with him. Did I tell you I partied with Gretzky?
Yeah, many times.
Many times. And he tried to get me to play his girlfriend's record on my show. And when I did, my boss threatened to fire me.
That bad, huh?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was like Celine Dion, but it wasn't Celine Dion.
It wasn't good in between like the Rolling Stones and the Clash.
It didn't quite fit the playlist.
I'm not a big hockey fan, but I saw the record-breaking goal. What a shot! I mean, he did not do that. He made
that was his main thing,
shot.
Mel. He would be. They called that his office because he would be over at that side of the rink, and fire those shots from the side there.
I would just get out the way if I was the other guys. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. He's been doing it for 20 years.
Now, speaking of that, as the hockey league is very successful, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Why don't they have like a dental plan?
Well, they do. They wait until they're retired.
And then,
there's no point having it happen again and again, and then
yeah. If you see a retired hockey player, he always has beautiful teeth.
Yeah,
that's the first thing he puts his money into when he's finally done.
And they're finally making good money.
So but a hockey player has teeth while they're playing. They're not that good. Is that what?
No, I mean you're going to catch a puck or a stick. Everybody gets hit in the face at some point.
Is that a good thing? Is that
I mean,
it's not a good thing.
I mean,
no,
it's not like a hit the other kind of hit.
It's literally. I mean, Sidney Crosby, like on Mount Rushmore, like greatest hockey player right now, even better than Ovechkin. And I know I'm a Penguin, but most people would agree with that statement. He took a deflection off somebody's stick about 8 years ago in the face. He's had reconstructive surgery, and I mean, it's almost like face-off. He kind of doesn't look like he did when he was younger.
Yeah, but at least these guys make big money. Back in the day, in Gordie's day, the players, didn't have the big salaries they do now.
We didn't grow up with it. We didn't have any frozen lakes in East Los Angeles.
You know,
some of the greatest players right now though are from Los Angeles area. The Robertson brothers.
Well, that's because of Gretzky then.
Yes, it really is. And the Robertson brothers are stars in the league, and they're from Pasadena.
Oh wow.
Yeah. All right. I want to ask you about working with Bill Burr. You know, he is our fearless leader over there at the All Things Comedy, where we have our Puck Off podcast and have had for 12 years now. You work with Bill all around the world.
Yeah, I mean, not so much anymore. Oh, right now, Bill's on Broadway. Glenn Carey, Glenn Ross.
Yeah.
Cool,
now I got to go see a play.
But you've worked some crazy. You guys played Iceland. You played some.
Yeah,
really
we played Iceland.
But not the
we
theater.
played.
He will not do the theater.
No, I've played some great theaters with Bill. The Chicago Theater is one of the greatest theaters I've ever. I played the Forum. I played the Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
We played Israel.
He's become like the new Carlin. They take his quotes so many times, and he's more of an observationist.
Yeah, he's an amazing comedian, and you guys make a good comedy team out there. I want to ask you a couple quick things. What is your pick for the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, I was going to say the Dallas Stars about up until I saw my Penguins beat them 5-0, beat them on Saturday. I'm still gonna take the Stars and out west, and for the East, I'm gonna go Tampa Bay Lightning.
I think Tampa Bay, yeah, that's a good shot because they are looking better and better. They're on a roll.
Yeah, and Florida might have trouble getting it all together. Everyone's dinged up right now, and I know they got the rat from Boston, so that's going to help. But by the time him and Kachuk and Ekblad's been out for PED use, it's like maybe too hard because their first round's going to be insane if they have to play Tampa.
Yeah, can the Kings get there? Mel's shaking his head.
I don't know. It's going to be hard because I think Vegas might have an easier. Vegas should be kind of rested. Even though the Bluesers are on a roll right now, if they get by Vegas, I'll be very impressed. If they make the Western Conference Finals, I think that's as far as they can go because I really don't see them beating a warmed up Dallas or a warmed up Avalanche.
But I think they will get out of the first round and beat the Oilers this year. Yeah,
I mean, I would say it's the Avalanche. I don't know. It's hard to go against McCarr and McKinnon.
Yeah, they have a great team.
I'm just picking the Stars because I picked them at the beginning of the year.
Mel shook his head when I said the rat because he thought it was an actual rat.
Yeah, I don't even know who Stanley is.
Well, he was a lord.
Yeah,
Stanley was a
Mel.
lord?
So
Yeah.
a little
Lord
respect,
Stanley's
please.
Cup.
Now, Joe,
wow.
who are your top 5 bands? Come on, give me your top 5 bands.
Oh, okay. AC/DC, the Rolling Stones,
Very cool.
the Grateful Dead, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and Black Sabbath.
Yeah, man, nice
The
list.
Grateful Dead?
That's a good
Yeah,
list.
man, you don't like the groove, bro?
Jerry Garcia embarrassed my whole family.
What happened?
No, I don't know. That band, I just was never a fan of Grateful Dead. I'm sorry. They just never seemed like they practiced.
Well, there's some good
No.
stuff and there's some bad
Come on.
stuff.
Yeah. For every band, though.
Yeah.
But that's a good list.
Yeah, very good list,
Yeah.
actually.
I didn't veer, I didn't.
No,
We all love
Did you
AC/DC.
go traveling watching?
Yeah.
Not like I didn't take whole summers off, but I'd go for like a weekend here, a weekend there. Yeah, it's the ultimate party, and they jam. I mean, that's the best thing is the music. I know people are like, oh, it's the drugs, it's this, it's that. No, you just get in a groove and you have a good time. Everyone's
Come
in a
on,
good
it's the
mood.
drugs. Now,
the
Joe
fans.
Bartnick, Puck Off has been on for how many years now?
12 years.
Wow.
I know. We've never missed a week from hell or high water.
We really have never missed a
Fire,
show.
Ice, snow,
Yeah.
hospitalizations, everything.
We've been through it all,
Yeah.
and we are still on the air. So check it out, Bill Burr's All Things Comedy Network. Is that where they go to get it?
Yeah, well, it's everywhere you get
Everywhere.
your podcasts.
Yeah. All right, Joe Bartnick, thank you for joining us, and continued success with your stand-up comedy and everything you're doing.
This is fantastic. This is a fantastic new venue, guys.
Thank you very much,
We've been
man.
we've been through a bunch with KLOS too.
Yes, we have.
He already wants a bigger desk.
I do.
A
Come
higher
on.
desk.
Well, I want it all, actually.
He went you further away, Mel.
Yeah. You get that. You get that.
That makes sense.
Could we put him in the next room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Via satellite.
Yeah,
Mel
then
gets-
this couch
Put me
is
on
not big
power
enough.
radio
Yeah.
instead,
All right, Joe, thanks for joining us. That is Joe Bartnick. And check out our podcast, Puck Off, with Andy Piccaro as well. This is the Frazer Smith Show. We're presented by the accident attorneys at sweetjames.com. If you've been hit by an attorney or an accident or any of that stuff, call 1-800-9-MILLION. They'll hang up.